Hi, everyone. Anyone, all ones. Welcome to my yoga channel, yoga class, Yoga with Simone, here on YouTube. And today's class. Typically, classes are Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern. Sometimes we take a pause or we take a break from offering those live classes here. So there are plenty of classes on the platform if you hit up at those times and you don't find me here live on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Again, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. Today we're going to do 2 blocks with our practice, or something that makes like 2 blocks. I always suggest rolled up towels, bath towels. There is a playlist today, and it's today's date, Sunday, June 20th, YIN, and it's at the top of the playlist list on my Spotify. My Spotify handle name is My Friend Simone. We've got about 1 minute before we pretty still. And let me hook this up. Let me just take that off. If you're ready to be on your mat for the start of the class, I'm going to invite you to get into a child's pose. If you need a little bit of guidance around that, I get it. And I will show you some tricks because I know that some people don't get into child's pose as easily as others. So for our first pose today, we're going to get into child's pose. I typically sit on my shins, knees. If you need a little padding there, you can do that. And basically, toes touch and heels are wide. And as you come forward, your belly should kind of get into the pocket in between your thighs. Now, here's the thing. Some people can't lay their heart all the way down, or their head or forehead all the way down. You can slip a prop underneath you to support, whether it's a rolled up towel or your block at your forehead or heart. And then other versions of this not working out completely is if your bum is somewhere here in space and doesn't reach all the way back through relaxed hips. And so this is what I've got for you guys. You can put a prop on your heels so that you sew up this space between your butt and your heels. So find your child's pose, get your device ready, and I'm going to count down our playlist for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. So there's a million different ways in a way to hit Balasana child's pose. And the way that works for you is the way that lets you settle in and start to find your breath. And when when you settle into your pose, I just want you to leave room for things shifting and changing. So what that means to me, and hopefully it means to you as well, is that you may notice you need support, props underneath your forehead or heart. You may notice you need it at your heels and between your sit bones and heels. But as we settle into time and stillness here, you may fall a little deeper, into those pockets of space or those support systems. You may feel your sit bones land a little closer to your heels or your prop. And as that shift maybe starts to happen, more space opening up, it might be possible to switch how the props support you or get rid of them entirely. And we're here for about 2 more minutes. So just allowing yourself to meet the still and drop in. You're allowed to close your eyes. In fact, I invite you to do so. You can soften the jaw and part the upper and lower jaw. And you can start to really follow the rhythm of the exhale. Exhales typically signal you to find a relief, a bit of a relief. So follow that narrative. Let the weight pour into your forehead, just kind of that third eye place. That helps to massage a little bit of ease and relax into your body. And start to wake up your fingers and kind of stretch them wide. Breathe in. Soften that wide stretch. Breathe out. And then stretch your arms long to reach through the fingers. And come into a tabletop with wide knees and curl your toes under. And then step your knees hip width distance in a true tabletop, pressing through the toes, palms, and a little bit grounded through the knees. Press into those toes and slowly hover the knees off the mat. Breathe in. And then kick your butt up and back into downward dog, inverted V. Exhale here. Stay in this inverted V, Adho Mukha Shavasana, down dog, for about 4 more breaths to hang your head heavy and long your neck. And even this active pose will shift. There will be, even if it's just a little more space here and there. Especially as you find the rhythm of those exhales to release and relief. And come back down. And tap your knees onto the floor, tabletop. And then you're going to walk your forearms down to the mat in this tabletop. And wag your bum really slow, leaning it right to left. You know, like how a dog wags its tail? Slow-mo that move and find the wag. A little neutral. Center your wag and stop there. And then step one leg at a time, one knee at a time, back until your legs are long and your belly or pelvic floor comes to your mat, legs wide. And we're in a Sphinx pose here. You're grounding through the elbows right underneath the shoulders so that there's a 90-degree presentation of the elbows underneath the shoulders and forearms straight ahead. Fingers point straight ahead. Gaze somewhere ahead of your mat. Belly really heavy towards the floor. You're going to soften your legs. You're going to soften your bum. So you take any kind of angst or activity out of the legs. I'm going to be here for a little more time. You can hang your head super heavy to pull a little bit into the neck body for sensation. Or you can stand up a block in between your elbows to rest your head on, if that's your choice. Whether hanging your head heavy in space or resting your forehead on your block, follow the story of an exhale. If you're having trouble finding the relief and the release of an exhale, it might mean that you need to do diligence on a bigger inhale, just so that part helps the other part to be earned. Whether your head's hanging down or resting on your prop, you're going to pick up your head steady because it's going to feel like a little something. And put your gaze straight ahead. And then walk your arms long ahead, like you're Superman. And you're going to try and tuck your chin in and put your forehead down. And for this version, tuck your toes in so you get a little bit of a stretch and activity through the feet as you hang out here. Belly and heart down. Hairline on the floor. Fingers stretching forward to stretch through the arms and armpits. And just ever so lightly crawl a little bit of your fingertips more forward to pull more length and sensation into the arms. That might even pick up your elbows off the floor. And ground now through the arms on the ground and through the palms. And then lift your head up. Untuck your toes, shoelaces to the ground. And then lift both legs and ground through the palms. Pressing through your pelvic floor, deep breath in. Strength here for a beat, deep breath out. Put your thighs and shoelaces down. Climb back up onto your forearms, Sphinx pose. Fan out your hands to the corners of your mat at the top there, fingers looking straight ahead. And then ground through the palms, step the legs a little wider, softer thighs. And press into the hands to get up the heart. Seal pose. It's a little more intense to be here, so we're not here for quite as long, but we're here for a bit more. You're okay. Take a deep breath in. It'll meet sensation even more. Deep breath out. slowly start to bend through the arms. And tap your belly down and then eventually your heart. Along your arms and look right or left, wherever it suits you. And whichever way you're looking, so I'm looking to the left, I would then bend the left leg and slide the inner thigh up a bit. If you're looking to the right, you'll bend the right leg and slide the inner thigh up a bit. To look the other way, you'll first straighten out your leg. You'll look the other way and then bend that other leg. You'll slide that other leg back long. And you'll look back to center and put your hands underneath your shoulders and press into tabletop. From tabletop, I want you to bring your knees together, close any gap between the knees and toes, and then make way for a child's pose here. It should feel different than that first child's pose. Your back will be more rounded. But same things apply to this child's pose. If you need to put a prop block on your heels to sew up the space between the heels and sit bones, you can do that. And you can also put a prop underneath your forehead. And as you sit in this child's pose, I want you to send your breath towards your lower back and sacrum area. Imagine that your lungs are sitting there to receive the breath in and bring the breath out. Here for a little more time. Maybe you soften in the arms to bend the elbows and find a little bit of a relaxed expression across the shoulders and upper back. Come forward and up. Make your tabletop again with your knees together and your toes kissing. Curl your toes under. And then hover your knees about an inch or half an inch off the ground and squeeze your knees together with this hover. You should feel your upper inner thighs and the inseams of your legs and your belly correspond with this squeeze. Breathe in. Keep squeezing. Breathe out. Protract your shoulder blades. So back. Squeeze. Breathe in. And then kick your bum up and back to straighten your legs. Inverted V. Down dog with zipped legs. We're going to step our feet maybe just underneath our waist or belly, so to the middle-ish of your mat. And then heel toe or toe heel your feet about hip width distance, so that if you put two fists between your toes, that could exist, and you could balance and soften in the fold. And you can grab your props, especially if you have blocks that stand up. But even rolled up towels might help here to rest your hands on. And you can rest your hands on your props. If they're blocks, they could be at a lower height or a higher height. Forward into the fronts of the feet, and then a micro bend in the legs to soften your fold. And send all the weight into the head and upper back so that you allow yourself to be a rag doll here. You might find a really deep fold that lands you more into space or allows for your forearms to rest on your props. Or maybe you can put your hands right down on the ground. You're likely going to feel a lot of heat start to get up through the spine towards the neck body as the flow of oxygen and blood reverses in this inversion. And what that will mean for when we get out of this pose is a reset, new energy. Always good for the immune system to feel a refresh. Because it stimulates things into response and activity. Our organs, our body, and I would argue our perception. If you really love the dangle of this pose, elbows, and in this fully expressed Uttanasana dangling pose of yin, just hang out. commit to what you've given in your arms and in your head, but just ever so slightly, as though you can barely notice. Shift the weight a little bit into the heels. And breathe out for that. And then ever so slightly, without even being able to notice, shift the weight into the fronts of the feet. And then exhale that. To get out of this pose, you're going to get out of the link of the elbows if that's you. And if your hands are resting flat to the ground, you're going to definitely put your hands on your props. And you'll use the grounding of hands to props to push the heart up a bit so that you don't bear all of it in the feet and in the back body. And then you're in a halfway lift a bit. Breathe in. And then you're going to toe heel or heel toe your feet a little wider. And feel the release out of your feet for that. And slowly fan your toes out. And slowly sit your bum down and down slow into space. Ooh. Pause for the cause. Maybe you need to close your eyes to get your bearings. Maybe you need to part your jaw and lips to let it all out. And then you're going to slowly bring one hand with the prop, if that's what you're using, behind you at a time to help you sit on your butt. And then extend your legs long and wide. Maybe shift your butt forward so that you can lie down slow and steady, props framing your hips as you get all the way down. Whenever coming to Shavasana out of dangling pose, it's always intense. And it always feels like a bit of sweet justice to just lie on your back. If you're having problems getting into the release and the relief of the lower back, you might just need to bend your legs a little bit till you feel your lower back ground. And then slip props underneath your thighs to help keep that lower back grounded as you lengthen your legs again. And that's an assisted modified Shavasana corpse pose. Should do the trick of taking any intensity or pain even out of the lower back. We're here for a bit. Gather a big inhale so you feel the float up of your belly and heart, and maybe hold at the top. And then let go out of that hold with an open mouth exhale. Lightly tuck your chin, long your neck, press the back of your neck down. A little retraction here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel like a little stretch down the neck body into the upper back and shoulders. And then slowly help your sit up. Maybe press through the elbows, grab the sides of the mat. You're going to take your props and you're going to stand up one of your props at this height behind your upper back shoulders. You're going to take your second prop and you'll try and go lower. If you're working with rolled up towels, you can just keep them, excuse me, at the same height. Freudian slip there of the burp. So, as you lay back, your chest body is all open here. And then, if you've got a lower height with your second prop, your head will hang back and you'll feel openness through the neck body. But if you're working with the same height of props, you're likely not going to get as open through the neck body. Whatever your pleasure is here, that's what you follow. And I want you to try and widen your arms and widen your legs. I've always called this pose open heart surgery. Can also be known as fish pose, supported fish pose. In this pose, she gets a little better as you start to explore how you can really groove the breath with the pose. So when you breathe in bigger and breathe out bigger, it starts to affect the sensation of the pose. Because, as always, yoga is the partnership of breath and asana. Gather another breath in and get to the top and hold that breath again. You can feel a ton of space in your body. Hold for a few beats. And open the mouth for the exhale. Take one of your hands, put it behind your head, help your head up, and pick up your gaze and chin a little higher than your chest. And then keep your head up there with the help of a strong belly. Grab the outsides of the mat, ground through the elbows, and sit up, slow and steady. And you're going to remove your props, framing your props outside of your hips, and lie right back down to Sweet Justice Shavasana. Completely still. A quiet body for 2 more breaths. Come up to a sit again. And use only one of your props at the lowest height. And it's going to meet the thoracic spine, the midsection, in and around behind your rib cage, so that your bum is settled to the floor. And then as you lie your head back down, you ground through the head. And you're kind of pushing generous opening through the rib cage, and also grounding in the midsection of your back to your prop to find a ton of space. And as you check out this shape, for sure it's going to confront a little bit. It might even feel a bit scary to be this open through the section of your back and ribs, because our ribs typically hold things in place, including how we feel about things. So completely natural to trigger a kind of emotional response here as we pry open the center line of our body. Trickle a little bit into the pelvic floor and into the creases of the hips. And once again, as you partner breath with shape, you get a little deeper into shape. So make breath the tool. One more breath in. You can do that thing about holding at the top if it suits you. And definitely part your jaw for the exhale. And grab the sides of the mat. Pick up your head slow, a little higher than your chest. And then ground through the elbows to get your mid-back off and up. Back down onto your back body. Let yourself ground in that Shavasana again. Be with the quiet of your body, that commitment to stillness, just so you can feel anything lingering out of where we just were. Just so you can receive it, process it. You're going to step your feet 1 foot at a time to the mat. Bend in the legs, knees look up. And then you'll take your prop and you'll either at the lowest height or the second highest height. You're going to sneak your bum up as you press through the feet. Supported back bend. Supported bridge pose. Put your prop underneath your sacrum just above your bum cheeks and land here. So we've essentially walked all the way down the back body to just pop through any of those constraints, those locked up places of energy, to open up not only through the back body, but to receive it somehow through the front body too. Option to lengthen the legs here. Maybe even walk the shoulders and head up a bit to ground more. If you lengthen the legs, be careful of pushing away through the heels. You want to find the ability to ground through the heaviness of the feet and legs. And a final offering would be to cactus the arms. Open the palms to the sky and let yourself be open all the way through. little bit longer in the softness and still. So you can soften your jaw. You can feel for a softer expression across your forehead. Relaxed state of your fingers and toes. Last breath here. Bring your palms back down to frame your hips. Out of cactus arms, and then bend one leg at a time if they were long legs. And then press through the feet and sneak the bum up any amount to sneak your prop out. And with a bend in the legs, ground your feet here. And just wag your knees a little left to right, like window shield wipers. Do this a few times. Maybe you go a little deeper into the wag. A little more. Just enjoy the wag. Your knees finding more space. Your hips opening more. And then you're going to come up to center and bring your knees towards your chest without involving your hands. And then maybe you scissor a little bit forward and back through the knees. And then maybe you make circles. And maybe those circles don't completely make sense. They're more like number 8s. And you'll feel a little bit of a walk through your lower spine onto the mat as you make no sense of the knees moving in space. And as you come out of this, you'll put the soles of the feet to the mat. And then step the feet closer together, kiss the toes, and then wide the knees. So the soles of the feet eventually touch, like prayer hands, knees wide, butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana. If you're not to slip your props underneath your knees or thighs, you can do that. Or you can let go of that and just let go of the knees into space to find a slow but steady, deeper opening. If you want to have a little bit of a stretch sensation through the neck body into the upper back, you can tuck your chin in and ground your neck body a little more. Retract, almost like you're getting a pie in the face and you're pressing your head back and away from that pie. You can come in and out of that pie in your face. to pop in and out of that retraction. Maybe you do it 1 or 2 more times until you soften in the grounding of the head. Relax your chin. Take your knees, outer thighs, wherever they may land, to help your knees back up. Close those knees like a book and find your final Shavasana, legs long. Sweet dreams, guys. Namaste.